Here we witness a most unusual migration, not of animals but of a prince and his partner. Harry and Meghan left behind centuries of royal tradition for the sun-drenched landscape of Hollywood. The world watched as they shed their roles, embarking on a bold new path. This was more than a move. It was a gamble to change their very nature, or at least how the world saw them. Their departure sent ripples worldwide, a declaration of independence, a severing of ancient ties. Would they find the freedom they craved, or simply trade one set of constraints for another? The world waited to see. In their new habitat, Harry and Meghan quickly staked their claim, announcing a landmark Netflix deal. This was their first major move, signaling they were here to play, not just visit. The industry placed immense value on their brand, expecting content that would inspire and inform. Hopes were high. Would they produce groundbreaking documentaries or inspiring films? With name recognition, resources and a global story, their new life in Montecito seemed idyllic. A gilded cage of their own making, Archewell Productions was born, promising meaningful content and positioning them as thought leaders. Hollywood buzzed with anticipation. This was a new kind of power couple, blending royalty with celebrity. But in this world, survival demands constant production and relevance. The initial excitement was finite. The public and industry waited for results. Pressure mounted, promises must be met with products. The true test was not migration, but adaptation. Could they deliver on the hype? The stage was set for a triumphant second act, but the demands of Hollywood are relentless. In this ecosystem, it's not enough to arrive. You must continually prove your worth. The couple had established their base, but now they had to justify the investment. The world watched, eager for the first real fruits of their new venture. Their first major project, the documentary series Harry and Meghan, was highly anticipated. Viewers expected a look at their philanthropic work or global causes, but instead got an intimate retelling of their own story. The series focused on their courtship, struggles with the press, and decision to leave the royal family. Slick and polished, it was a personal narrative, an attempt to present their side, unfiltered. Yet the reaction was mixed. Sympathy gave way to a sense of disconnect. Complaints about media intrusion delivered via a multi-million-dollar production felt paradoxical. The content seemed more like a curated reality show than a documentary with a broader message. The focus on personal grievances, repeated often, began to lose impact. Instead of connecting universally, it created distance. The hoped-for pivot to global changemakers stalled. Their platform was used to talk at length about themselves. This inward gaze would come to define their public persona and shape perceptions of their new life. Next came Archetypes, Meghan's podcast with Spotify, aiming to explore and subvert labels placed on women. The concept was promising, with high-profile guests and initial buzz. But as episodes aired, conversations often circled back to Meghan's own experiences. The universal message was lost in personal narrative and momentum faded. After one season, the partnership ended abruptly with public criticism and accusations of unmet expectations. The podcast's failure signaled that even with fame, content must resonate authentically. The audience was ready for something more. Stories that looked outward, not inward. Public opinion, once warm, began to cool for Harry and Meghan. The constant retelling of grievances led to fatigue and skepticism. Satire and parody, from late-night hosts to South Park, painted them as out of touch and self-obsessed. Their call for privacy clashed with their public media projects, fueling accusations of hypocrisy. Authenticity is key, and their brand began to feel inauthentic to many. Sympathy curdled into annoyance. The narrative of endless complaint from privilege wore thin. They became symbols of celebrity excess, no longer just a former royal couple seeking a new life. The climate had shifted. They now faced a colder, more critical environment. The disconnect between message and action was glaring. The public's patience for their story was running out. In the world of fame, the audience is quick to move on. The spotlight is both a gift and a curse. Harry and Meghan sought to control it, to tell their story and build their brand. But fame exposes flaws and magnifies mistakes. Outside the royal institution's protection, they face direct public judgment. In Hollywood, survival depends on constant audience approval. When that wanes, the spotlight becomes harsh, exposing vulnerabilities. Fame is not a destination, but a demanding, ongoing performance. Their narrative stalled, stuck in past grievances, a dangerous place for any public figure. The fame they inherited became a double-edged sword, platform and target, amplifier and trap. The quest for fame can lead to a loss of authenticity. Their journey is a cautionary tale. The light they sought can also burn. Managing perception can become a narcissistic preoccupation. The fire of fame requires careful tending, or it consumes what it was meant to illuminate. What can we learn from Harry and Meghan's Hollywood journey? It's a story about identity, fame, and public perception, a cautionary tale for the modern age. Leaving one gilded cage may simply mean entering another. Fame is a tool, not a measure of success. Its power fades if used only for self. The public craves authenticity and stories that look outward, not inward. The Sussexes had a chance to inspire, but their focus remained personal. Their story reminds us lasting influence comes from elevating others, not just ourselves. In the ecosystem of modern life, the most enduring legacies are built on contribution, not self-reflection.